Welcome to the MLG COD League Draft, a very special episode here on the Esports Report. I'm Chris Bucket, back and ready to get Season 3 of the MLG COD League kicked off. Of course, the action is going to be starting this coming Monday, as our top 12 teams will be duking it out for $50,000. That's just the online portion. So let's get into it, but before we get into the first round picks, we got to talk about some new changes that were made to the Season 3 format. Now, these are some changes that are going to affect the gameplay we're going to see in Season 3. I asked the players, do we want to mix in some new maps? They said no, but here are a few things they'd like to change. Machine guns. The light machine guns have been removed. You're going to notice the Bulldog shotgun also removed as a primary weapon. As far as perks go, some people are going to be really happy about this, others not so much. Extra tactical and extra lethal grenades have now been removed. So that means you can only have one smoke grenade, you can only have one frag. We're not going to see any double smokes, double frags. Now, when it comes to uniforms, you also notice that the Extinction DLC allowed for some pretty interesting female loadouts, as you had very skinny characters with normal hitboxes. Well, the players felt this is something that was abused. They didn't want to see it in regular gameplay online. So, the female Extinction loadouts have been removed from your classes. But the big one, I really think we're going to see a lot of love for no more LMGs, no more Bulldogs. The S&D kids have been talking about this for a while. Something I know one very special person, Nex, was all over Twitter just raging with joy today. So, those are some of the new restrictions we're going to see. Let's talk a little bit about what today's show is going to work. We have the draft format here. It's basically the same exact format we saw for Season 2. We have 12 teams coming into Season 3. Each will draft 4 substitute players. There's going to be a grand total of 8 players per team at the end of this draft. Now, if you don't pick up a player when it's your time to draft, the player on your team will be put on as the next highest in pro points that is available. Now, this is all going to get interesting, as we saw the first 48 players were eligible to be starters coming into this draft. Unfortunately, a few players decided they were done playing. They did not want to participate in Season 3, so we had 2 teams with incomplete starting lineups. Those 2 teams, we'll get to them in a minute. That is going to be Rise Nation and Radius Gaming. So before we get into the draft, these teams are actually going to have some bonus picks at the very start before round number 1. After that, we're going to start at the very bottom at the 12th seed, working our way to the number 1 seed, with 12th seed getting the first pick in each of our 4 rounds. So let's take a look at our draft order. This is based on the seeds from our Anaheim tournament. You see at the very bottom, the 12th seed. That is your tournament champions, Evil Geniuses. OPTIC Gaming is at number 11. At the top, working down, though, we have Justice, who finished 4th in the open bracket. Elevate, they finished 3rd. And Rise Nation and OPTIC Nation faced off for first place in the Season 3 play-in tournament. Everyone else, those are your top 8 teams coming from Season 2, with a little bit of a change here. You'll see at number 8, FaZe. That is formerly the FaZe Black lineup. And Radius Gaming, that is formerly the FaZe Red lineup. Radius Gaming coming in and purchasing that spot, and FaZe just making 1 squad. Team Envy is going to get number 9. Curse Gaming, who was formerly Curse Black, coming in at number 10. So there's a look at your draft pick order, but if you haven't been following all the roster madness, let me get you caught up at where we stand. Of course, Evil Geniuses, they are still the same starting lineup that you saw when Anaheim. One of 2 teams that really didn't make any moves. TP, Aches, Crimsix, and Karma. These are the COD gods at the moment, the number 1 squad in the world. Their next challenger, OPTIC Gaming, keeping the same lineup as well. They are your gold medal winners. They also finished 2nd at Anaheim in that great finals versus EG. Nadeshot, Clayster, and Proofy did not make any moves. Scumpy still on that lineup as well. Moving down, let's go to our Curse lineup. Coming in here with the number 10 pick. Now, originally, a lot of moves were talked about with this squad, but they stuck together. Curse Black now just going as Curse. You'll see Enable, Tipsy, Mochila, and Burns Off. Up next, we got Envy. Now, Envy made some major changes. Nameless, he stays on board with Merc, but they add 2 new faces. JCap, he got second place at CoD Champs for Black Ops 2 with this Envy team. He is back on the roster, and they've added Formal from FaZe Black to the lineup. Speaking of FaZe, let's take a look at their new lineup. As, of course, Formal made a move. Apathy from Team Caliber came back to this squad. And after Parasite was released from Envy, Sensor and Dita were talking he could be a great addition. Parasite is now on this squad. Team Caliber, of course, losing Apathy, but regaining a former teammate in Theory as he is added back to the TK lineup. And then we're going to see a few more squads. Here's TK for you. Theory, Sharp, Goonjar, and Neslo. These guys will be getting the 7th pick in round number 1. Now moving into our top 6 picks, these are the bottom 6. Coming into things, we have the new squad. This is Radius Gaming. Now, Classic and Saint were 2 players available. Of course, Classic formerly on FaZe Red. He is staying on this lineup. Saint, however, played with Rise Nation through that play-in tournament. Played so well the whole way through the open bracket, falling only to OPTIC Nation in that grand finals. However, they are still missing 2 players. So some major moves coming from Radius Gaming, the only team of the 12 with just 2 starters. They will have 1 conditional pick, and then their second starter will be taken in round number 1. Let's keep it moving, though, as we take a look at our next squad. This is Denial Esports. Now, Denial, led by Zuma, who had one of the best tournaments out of any player I saw in Anaheim. Zuma put up 30 kills a game in Respawn, and he has surely added some firepower. Saints coming in from FaZe Black, Replays coming in from the former FaZe Red team, and Study coming over from Envy will make up Denial Esports. They will come in with your number 5 pick, but let's take a look at number 4 pick. This is going to be OPTIC Nation. You know them. Embo's leading the squad with Miracles and Killa, the world champions from Black Ops 2, as well as Ricky. Moving on, we got Rise Nation. This is a team that's been on the bubble forever. They fell just short in the Season 2 play-in tournament. Season 3 play-in tournament, they sealed the deal. Looney, Wheats, and Pac-Man, of course, playing with Saint at that tournament. They let go of Saint, and I think it's because they have a very special pick in mind for round number 1. We could also see him, of course, taking in that first conditional pick. Moving on now, our last 2 teams, Elevate Esports. They played with Mad Cat, and he's still on the lineup for now. Gucci and Chino make up this squad, and Nifty is their 4th player, a young gun who has been making a lot of moves recently. And finally, we have Justice. Justice, of course, in Season 2, one of the worst records for 90% of the season, but they started getting it together in the final month. BL Fire still playing with Twiz, Doubt, and Sin, as Justice looks to definitely improve from Season 2 to Season 3, just like OPTIC did. Remember, OPTIC Gaming, they were at the very bottom of Season 1, finished 2nd in Season 2. So, that's a look at our starting lineups. What do you guys think about hopping into the draft picks, starting with our conditional draft picks? Remember, the order is going to be Rise Nation, then we're going to see Radius, and then we'll actually start round number 1. So up first, it's going to be Rise Nation, and let's see. I got the Skype message right here. Will, you got a graphic for me, my friend? It's coming in. We're also going to see, of course, Radius. They will pick up their first of 2. It looks like Rise Nation is going to pick up Attach. Everyone thought this was going to happen. It is officially confirmed. Welcome to the team, Attach, as he will be taking that 4th spot, filling in on Rise Nation. This is definitely going to be a dangerous squad. And can't wait to see what Attach is going to bring to the table. We're going to get one more conditional pick before we start our round number 1. But here's a look at some of the stats from Attach. 13th at UGC Niagara. In CoD League Season 1, he helped his squad finish 9th. CoD League Season 2 was not the best, though, for Curse Orange, as unfortunately they finished 11th. And they had a nice little run at X Games, but were cut short, finishing 5th. But overall, look at those KDs. Attach is a main Slayer. He had a perfect game in Search and Destroy, an incredible Slayer who's going to bring all kinds of greatness to this squad if he's able to play the role properly on Rise Nation. Up next, we have our pick from Radius Gaming. Let's take a look at their first conditional pick. As they're still looking for 2 stars, it looks like Slacked is going to be the new addition joining Classic and Saint. Here's a look at some of his numbers. A big move coming already here from Radius. Slacked, of course, played with Vex. Did not finish as high as they wanted to. Had to play through the Open as they fell just 1 spot short to TK. Did not make it into that championship bracket, and their Vex fell short once again, not qualifying for Season 3. Slacked is going to make the move from Vex to join this Radius squad as a new team is being built. I forgot to do this at the start of the show, and I feel really bad about it. During this commercial break, we're going to add Methods to the call. He's going to give us his thoughts on those first 2 picks, and then we'll kick off round number 1. Who is Justice going to grab? Who is Rise Nation going to add to their lineup? And who will Radius put on as a starter? We'll find out after this. All right, guys, we're back. Welcome to the Esports Report. Very special episode as we have the MLG CoD League Season 3 draft. I'm Chris Puckett, joined today by a very special guest. We have the member from Strictly Business. You know this guy. It's Methods, a.k.a. the Bulldog Methbot. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, my friend Chris. How are you?
Really good. We had a little issue with Skype in the first segment, but we got you on now, and I got to get your thoughts. Attach going to Rise Nation to finish off this squad. Good pick, bad pick. Where does he stand in your eyes?
It was probably the best pick Rise could have gotten, because Attach is such a good player. I teamed with him on Curse Youth before. His slaying ability is crazy, really good S&D, and his objective work is there. So definitely a good pick for Rise. I really feel like their team will improve now. And, I definitely see Rise doing big things with Attach. Definitely a good pick on their part.
Now let's talk about Slacked as Radius. They're building a brand new lineup. We saw Classic. He's, of course, now going to be teaming with Slacked. How big of a move is this for Radius? Is that the person you would go after with the number 2 pick overall?
Yeah, Slack's definitely a really good player. I even hit him up to see if he was interested in joining our team after our recent move. So Slack's definitely a good player. And as soon as I hear Slack, that is here Huddle. So I'm definitely expecting Radius to come out of the woodwork here and try to do something with that, because seeing Slack without Huddle is like, bread without butter.
I like it. Well, of course, these were the conditional picks for the 2 teams that did not have a full set of 4 starters. Now we're going to find out who will be adding their first addition as substitutes. Now, the first team up is going to be Justice. And if you're looking at this Justice squad, it's a team that struggled in Season 2, started turning it on at the end of Season 2, and played pretty darn well through the open bracket. Who would you be looking for if you're on Justice?
Definitely somebody who can take over the game in Search and Destroy and, the slaying column. You definitely want somebody who could come up clutch and search and sort of fill any role you need and be very versatile. So I'm thinking someone like Fizzerp, or somebody that can really adapt to the settings and change a game.
Well, I'm trying not to peek at the numbers before they come in. Let's show the graphic here, Will, as it's time to announce Modi is picked up as Justice's first pick. This is a guy that, personally, I haven't had an opportunity to cast. What can you tell me about Modi?
Modi's actually a really good player. To be honest, a fun fact about me is I actually teamed with Modi when I first started coming up in the game back in MW3, and he actually dropped me from his team. It was me, him, Advice, and Modi's girlfriend. So this little fun fact, Modi's definitely a good friend of mine, really good
Kept
team.
his girlfriend, but he dropped you.
Pretty much. It wasn't the best of things. So, I mean, things happen, but I definitely see Modi making an impact in this league when he's of use.
Well, the substitutes, they have big opportunities to show off their gameplay against some of the best in the world. Modi now getting his opportunity as he is going to join Justice. Let's take a look at our next squad, though. Elevate is on the clock. Here's some quick numbers about Modi. He's 5,800th overall. Pro rank, number 72 with over 21,000 pro points. Only one tournament win, though, according to Game Battles, although being a member since June of 2012. But let's move on to our next team to keep the show going. Elevate Esports is on the clock, and this is a squad that, of course, qualified with a UK player in Madcat. Gucci looking for a new pickup here as the sub. Who do you think Nifty and the boys are going to be taking here as the second pick in round 1?
I have to say Miyagi, and the reason I said that just because I already know. So,
boom. Go ahead. It is Miyagi.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why Miyagi's a good fit here.
Miyagi's definitely a good player. We saw him compete with Curse Orange in the Anaheim Open Bracket, and he's always been someone who's consistent in Search and Destroy. And his respawn, I really haven't seen him go off, but he's definitely always there. He's always, making his position on the map and holding his own. So Miyagi, definitely a good pick for them, and I definitely expect Miyagi to be playing for ELV quite a bit.
Look at that, a 1.64 KD in Search and Destroy at the X Games. Miyagi was going absolutely enormous there. 2 former members of Curse Orange picked up in our first few picks, as Miyagi is now joining Elevate with the number 4 pick overall. But Rise Nation is now on the clock, and they are looking to complete their roster. Remember, they just grabbed Slacked. Now it's time to find out who are they grabbing here in round number 1.
Rise Nation actually...
Oh, excuse me, not Rise Nation. I knew that totally reading Radius earlier. So Rise Nation, excuse me, earlier with their first pick added attached. Now they're adding TJ. What do you think about this pick? This is a guy we always see go very far in our 2K tournaments.
TJ Haley, very good player. He started off in Search and Destroy and gradually moved his way up to Variant. I was actually fortunate enough to play him at UMG Philly, which was actually his first Variant LAN event, and they took a map on us. So TJ's a very good player, especially online. He has quite the internet. So
Quite the internet.
I definitely see TJ making an impact here, and TJ's definitely a good pick for that squad.
Is there anything special about this guy? Is he just an all-around player? I know a lot of the people who watch our online broadcasts haven't seen too much from him.
One thing that puts him above a lot of people is his reaction time. He's young, and most of the time when you're younger, you have a nice reaction time. So his gun skill and his gunplay is always there for the most part.
Well, he was playing with Strictly Business in Season 2. Did you guys use him at all?
I believe we used him once, and he went absolutely off. So definitely a good player in my eyes.
I like it. So TJ Haley joins Rise Nation. Up next on the clock is OPTIC Nation. Of course, this is the team that won the Season 3 play-in tournament, taking first place over Rise. Let's take a look at who OPTIC Nation is going to be drafting. Bizzard is going to be joining Kill Miracles, Ricky, and Embos. Methods, what are your thoughts here, buddy?
Fizzip just fits right in. We always see him playing S&D tournaments or wagers with Killa, Ricky, pretty much that whole squad. They're all like a really a circle, a group, and they're always playing together, whether it's eights, whatever it is. So Fizzip's definitely comfortable with these players, and Fizzip's also very good at filling in wherever he's needed. So Fizzip for this team is definitely going to be a good fit for the Season 3.
I thought Fizz was actually the star player on SB at the X Games. Of course, he had to fill in for you as you were too young. He had an incredible tournament there, and particularly in Search and Destroy, he was always dropping double digits in the kills column, keeping his deaths down, and he put up a 2.27 overall there. But that wasn't it. He also turned it up on day number 2 in the respawn game modes. A lot of people are saying these new restrictions may affect his gameplay. Do you think he's going to have an issue kind of making an adjustment to only one tactical and one lethal grenade?
Not really. I mean, one tactical and two tacticals, yeah, there's a difference, but if he uses incog and throws a smoke, he can slow run through it. Nothing to stop him. So I think Fizzip, even with the new settings, is going to be quite fine. I mean, he's a really good player, especially in Search and Destroy. I actually watched him the X Games, and I saw him completely take over games and pretty much carry my teammates to victory. So, Fizzip, I think give him any role set and he'll do his job.
I said kind of on Twitter before this all started that I think Fizzip would definitely be a round 1 pick, potentially even a starter for a team at the end of the season. We'll see what his role is on this squad. Definitely expect to see him used as an S&D sub. Let's keep it rolling now as our next team on the docket is going to be Denial Esports. This is a totally rebuilt team, only keeping their leader Zuma. They've added replays, they've added Saint, and they've added Study. Let's see who they're picking up as their 5th. Now, the 5th man is Decimate. This is someone I know nothing about. What can you tell me about Decimate? I know he's all over GB.
Yeah, Decimate's one of those players who you always see in the S&D tournaments, whether he's winning or, coming as close as winning second place as possible. Decimate's a really good player. I played against him. He has good internet. That's also a plus. And I feel like Decimate's going to be used, not so much for the variant side, but, come in mid-series and play those Search and Destroys. That's definitely going to be a factor with playing with Decimate.
It's getting pretty competitive here, and we were talking before the show that subs could potentially be brought in for specific game modes. Do you think that Decimate is a player that you would bring in for Search and Destroy, or do you try and get things going with this new starting lineup for Denial?
I mean, it depends what happens. If a player's having an off day and you want to make sure you need a win, you need to secure it. That's a player you bring in who is always going to hold his own in Search and Destroy. But the only problem is he's not going to know what your team does. So you're pretty much sacrificing chemistry for someone who's just going to fill in and do his job, if that makes sense. You're not really going to have that click that most teams have, but he'll do his job.
All right, Decimate added to Denial. Let's keep it going now as it's finally time to figure out who Radius Gaming is going to add to their starting lineup. And the word is right. You got it. Huddle picked up in round number 1. He will be the official 4th player on this team. Basically a starter now, joining Saint and Classic. Is this a tough challenger now with the addition of the duo here? How strong do you think Radius is going to be?
I mean, Radius will be a good team, but the only problem I have looking at the roster is leadership. I've played with all those players before. I've teamed with all of them besides Huddle. So, there's not really leadership there. Classic can do his job and slay. Same with Huddle and Slack, but they're definitely going to need someone to step up and become a vocal leader and that, in-game leader that you need to win those respawns.
Watching these guys, they're all kind of quiet until they die. I'm wondering, is Saint going to be that figurehead here, as you definitely know what you're going to be getting out of the other three, especially in that slaying column. So let's keep it moving here. Huddle, a great addition, joining Slacked, but leaving Vex. Guys, we have 6 more picks still to come. We'll be back after the commercial break. It looks like TK is on the clock.